I have a PowerPoint. I use it as a guide, so I'm just going to use my iPad and talk with it and put questions.
That's fine.
Yeah. How many of you believe that the molecular structure of water can change through positive messaging or negative messaging? You? Anybody else?
I never thought about
The
it.
molecular
Question.
Well, it's positive and negative atoms.
So let me share with you. Okay, the reason why I bring it up is there's a couple of scientists that believe it can. And there's a movie out based on the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And one scientist gives a compelling argument showing experiments of it changing. Yet, many scientists still believe it's quackery. I say, who knows? I'm open. Because we do know one thing, don't we? The science is never settled. That water is a fluid, and in its fluid state, it's in movement. Even when you look at it as still water, there's activity beneath the surface. That we're comprised mainly of water, and we're constantly changing, even if we don't know it. Because the universe is in flux, so aren't we? And we know that people can change their thought process through positive and negative messaging. Many years ago, I saw a woman that came to see me in my practice. I was in a clinic at the time. And she had adopted a little girl. And the little girl had been severely wounded. The little girl's parents physically, sexually, and emotionally abused her of the worst of crimes. I'm surprised they weren't charged, but they weren't. They surrendered their rights. It was my client's relative, a distant relative, and I never saw them again. This little girl was so wounded that she had psychological testing done, and they found cognitively, and I'm using the language of the 1980s, that the little girl was deemed, well, the prognosis was poor, and they thought she would not aspire any further than being in the range of mildly mental retardation, again, language at the time. And also physically, she would be under the dwarfism range. This was a terrible prognosis. But the mother didn't give up. She just went about her business. She looked at this child with such love. Her maternal instinct flourished. And she got every service. She got everything she could do for this little girl. And when she talked about it, it was loving. And even when this little girl displayed inappropriate behaviors, which would be expected with this kind of damage, the mother just redirected her. Several months later, testing was performed again. Cognitively, the child was going to be low average versus mildly mentally retarded. The prognosis improved markedly. Stature, physically, she was going to be within normal limits. Very, very petite. I said nothing wrong with that, but she was going to be normal. Now, I don't know what happened to this little girl. I'm sure she had many challenges. But the issue is the mother's belief in positive messaging, not just love. We know, of course, love, but love has to be acted on. Positive messaging and positive actions. And that is an example I never forgot, because in that short time, things improved.